Today we'll review Chapter 5, Section 2, Physics. Question 1. Write a scientific term for each of the following. The energy associated with an object due to the position of the object. Position is related to potential energy. Number 2. The work done on an object is equal to the change in the kinetic energy of the object. The net work equals the change in kinetic energy. This is called work kinetic energy theorem. The energy associated with an object due to the object position relative to the gravitational source is position, and the gravitational source is gravitational potential energy. The potential energy stored in any compressed or stretched object is called stretched or compressed object is called elastic potential energy. The length of the spring when no external force acting on it is called relaxed length, when the string in its original length. Number 2. Choose the letter that best completes each statement. Which of the following energy forms is associated with an object in motion? In motion, potential energy, elastic potential energy, non-mechanical or kinetic. Kinetic energy, it's the energy of motion. So the choice will be D. Which of the following formulas would be used to directly calculate the kinetic energy of a mass bouncing up and down on a spring? Calculate the kinetic energy. The kinetic energy equals half mv squared. Which of the following equations expresses the work kinetic energy theorem? We mentioned that the work kinetic energy theorem states that the net work equals the change in kinetic energy. So here the net work equals the change in kinetic energy. 4. Which of the following energy forms is associated with an object due to its position relative to the earth or to the ground? A form of potential energy related to the earth or the ground or gravitational source is called gravitational potential energy. Number 5. If the only force acting on an object during a given physical process is friction. The only force is friction. Which of the following assumptions must be made in regard to the object's kinetic energy? As there is a friction force, only the friction force, the kinetic energy will decrease because the friction is opposite to the direction of motion. So the kinetic energy, the speed starts to decrease and the kinetic energy decreases. Which of the following energy forms is stored in a compressed or stretched spring? It is elastic potential energy. Compressed or stretched spring or stretched object is called elastic potential energy. If it is released, it will change to kinetic energy. Number 7. Which of the following energy forms is associated with an object interacting with the environment? The interaction between an object and its environment is the potential energy. Which of the following energy forms is involved in winding a pocket watch? Winding a pocket watch means stretching or compressing a spring. It is elastic potential energy. The equation for determining gravitational potential energy is PE equals mgh. Which factors in the equation is or are not a property of the object? Both G and H. How? Here PE gravitational equals mgh. So the mass is a property of the object, intrinsic property of the object. It's mass. While the height can be changed, the gravitational force can be changed, the gravitational acceleration can be changed from one place to another. So the only one that depends on the property of the object is the mass, while G and H are not properties of the object. The main difference between kinetic energy and the potential energy is that kinetic energy involves motion and potential energy involves position. Which form of energy is involved in weighing fruit on a spring scale? Spring scale, it has a spring. This spring will be compressed if you put the fruit on it, so it has elastic potential energy. Number 12, gravitational potential energy is always measured in relation to zero level, because the height from the zero level. Number 13, a 3 kilogram toy falls from a height of 10 meters just before hitting the ground. What will its kinetic energy be? Disregard air resistance, or G equals 9.8. So, what will be its kinetic energy? First, we'll find the potential energy. mgh. M equals 3 times G 9.8 times H equals 10. So, equals 294. This potential energy is converted into kinetic energy while the object is falling down, and is converted totally to kinetic energy just before hitting the ground. So this will be converted into kinetic energy. So the kinetic energy equals the same number, which is 290. And the last one, what are the units for a spring constant? K. Spring constant is measured in Newton per meter. Newton per meter.